Howdy there, Moose fans. Lone Moose here. How's everybody doing? This is going to be a really fun video, I think. I hope you all enjoy it. But, you know, truth in advertising right up front, this is going to be a long video. Last week we were on vacation in Utah, and I hauled the motorcycle back there. And I had the opportunity, excuse me, it's getting late at night. I had the opportunity to ride Big Cottonwood Canyon, bottom to top. First time we tried riding it with my son Travis and his friends, we got pounded by rain on the way back. I didn't get any really good recording on that. So I later tried riding it on my own, and I was using my brand new Sena 10C EVO helmet cam and comms unit in one. This is the first trial of it. I personally like how it came out. I'd be like to see you guys' thoughts and comments on it below. If you've never been to Utah, you don't know what you're missing. This is one of the most beautiful places in the world. And Big Cottonwood Canyon, that's the one we rode. There's also a little Cottonwood Canyon. It's just spectacular beyond belief. So what this video is my ride from the parking area at the bottom all the way up to the top at the traffic circle, which is about 16 miles, turn around, and the ride backs, excuse me, so you can see it from both ways. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. I hope it inspires you to, get out and see some of the country if you haven't. Utah is a beautiful place. I lived there from 2005 to 2007 when I worked in the VA office in Salt Lake City. My son still lives out there. I love going out there every chance I can get. So it's a great video. If you like these kind of videos, please hit the like and subscribe. If you hit the notify bell, you'll be notified when I post new videos. I want to be doing more motovlogging videos here as the summer and fall goes on. So that way you'll be able to keep up with them, know what's coming, and enjoy them. This is all fun. I do this for me, but I do it for you too. We're all in this in a partnership. So if you have any thoughts or comments, please leave those down below. And I hope you all enjoy this video. I'm not going to make my commentary super long so that it drags us out forever. This is Lone Moose out. I'll see you on the next video, folks. Thanks for watching. Hey there, Lone Moose fans. Lone Moose here. How's it going today? Before it gets too damn hot and humid out here, I'm going to get out and try and do some riding and recording this morning. I'm going to record a ride that re-record a ride that we did the other day with Travis and Gray and some of their friends, and we got just stomped on by the rain. This is Big Cottonwood Canyon, and turn that camera on too. And so this ride is I'm testing out my new right up here EVO 10C camera and comms unit all in one, mounted on the side of my Bell helmet for this trial. See how it goes, because a lot of times when I'm using my DJI Osmo and shooting forward through the windshield, I get a lot of reflective glare off the headlights, speakers, and handlebars and stuff. So I'm going to see what happens with this, and then I'm going to run a second run where I'm going to take some blue duct tape and duct tape off the handlebars and stuff and see how that goes. So let's enjoy the ride. It's about 13, 14 miles up to where I'm going. Now I'll stop and turn around and come back. It's really difficult for these cameras, any cameras, not just these, to grasp the grandeur and the just sheer scope of these mountains. It's just unbelievable. And also, while I'm busy talking to myself, you know, that will let me know how this microphone is working, because I just mounted all this in the helmet last night. Hopefully all this works well, because I would like to use it on our way out Saturday as we're heading back to Texas, and I want to try and record some of riding up Soldier Mountain and all the way up to Soldier Summit. That's a really neat ride. Now there's a lot of curves on this thing, and so for my friend Nina and Josh, who are curve crazy and want to ride all the dragons, well, this is not named one of the dragons, but I guarantee you it do have a whole lot of curves, so I hope you guys enjoy the ride. There are some places along this road where it's literally 5-10 miles an hour kiss your ass turns. Unfortunately, dogs are prohibited up in Big Cottonwood Canyon here. This runs along Big Cottonwood Creek, and maybe on the way down I'll stop and shoot some still photos of the creek as well. It's really pretty, and include those on the video. Just depends on how fast, how hot it gets. Now when we rode this the other night, from where we started up to, we stopped and turned around and came back because the storms were, we could see the thunder and lightning and everything right ahead of us, was about 13 miles. So that's about what I'm going to do today. May go a little farther up, I don't know, it just depends on how I feel. But in that there was about a 2,700 foot elevation change in that distance, and about a 25-degree temperature change. Now the question becomes how much of the temperature change was due to the storm, and how much of that temperature change is due to you know, just the altitude difference. But we'll see. The creek's really pretty right here to my right. I know you can't see it. My intention for today had been, famous last words and past tense, to ride down to southern Utah. It's about 300 miles each way. Go through St. George, cross over into the little corner of Arizona, into northeastern Nevada, at a little town called Mesquite. And actually a bunch of the people I used to work with at VA have since retired in that area. And then turn around in Mesquite and set everything up and record the ride back through Arizona through the Virgin River Gorge. That is a spectacular ride. But one of my buddies I used to work with in Salt Lake, now he and his wife Cindy have retired down to southern Utah. I think they said to live in Washington, and I was messaging him yesterday. He said it was supposed to be 116 there. So essentially I had to say, well, I can't do it. Because, you know, if you haven't been following my channel for very long, I'm extremely heat and humidity intolerant. Yeah, I know, I'm a dumbass. I live in South Texas. And that's as a result of a minor heat stroke in 1980, where I was doing air conditioning work, and we had a spell of 113 degree days, 3 in a row, and I was trapped in an attic about 160 degrees when I had that minor heat stroke. So I am extremely cautious when it comes to heat, because as anyone who's been in the military knows, and you've had the you know, the heat casualty training and such, once a heat casualty, always a heat casualty. So I just cannot deal with that kind of heat. You know, I've made it 68 years so far, and now I plan on going a little bit farther, and now we got a big slowdown here. I wonder what that is. Don't know, we'll figure it out. Mainly a lot of my talking here is just to you know, see if this microphone works. I've never used this EVO 10C before. I've had it for about a year or more. So this is its real christening ride. Man, these rocks are spectacular. I sure hope this comes out good on this video. You know, I can kind of see on my phone, because it does pair with your phone via Wi-Fi, which I thought was kind of unique. So I don't know. Ooh, that got real cool right there. You know, I don't know how well the microphone and everything's going to work, so this is all trial and error. I won't know until tonight when I get back to the hotel and pull the chip, run it through the computer, and see what the heck happened. Oh yeah, here we go. Now here's a really pretty rock formation right here at this curve. It'll be on my left. It's kind of hard to say, or funny to say, spectacular, because every damn one of them is. You know, there's nothing in this ride, like I said, I've only done it once, nothing that I would consider to be a waste of time to see. Actually, my buddy Jason, who lives here, I used to work with when we were in the VA, and now we work for the same company, likes to get up in here and pan for gold in the creeks. He's never said anything about whether he managed to find any or not. You know, gold panners and stuff are usually pretty tight-lipped. So, but that's, you know, one of the other many activities up here in this area. Now, it's supposed to hit 106 here today in the valley. So I'm getting all of my riding and everything else out, get it all done early this morning, and then see how it goes. And yeah, I know one of my viewers, one of my most loyal fans and big supporters is going to chew my butt out because I've got my water right here and it shows up in there. But it's 106 degrees today overall. I'm sorry. Water has to go with me. That's just, you know, I have to give up some of the aesthetics of photography to save my own butt. You know, just to be as blunt as I can be. And then when I get back next week, I got to make an appointment and get the Harley into the shop for his 30,000 mile service. You know, for those of you who don't know, I ride a 2014 Harley-Davidson Heritage Softail Classic. I bought it a little over 2 years ago from Central Texas Harley-Davidson, north of Austin, up kind of by Georgetown, and it had 4,500 miles on it when I bought it then, and I rolled over 30,000 miles on it on this trip, and I plan on getting probably another 300 to 500 miles on it before I reload the bike up after Ride Soldier Summit on Saturday. But I headed in not too long ago, a month or two ago, for some service work. I had an oil line underneath the chassis that I guess had cracked, so they had to replace that. But since then I've been having some issues I really need them to look at, because this is a very stable bike, and you know, Harley, if you don't know, has kind of what's supposed to be a self-adjusting or self-leveling kickstand. And I've never really had any problems with this bike falling off this kickstand until this trip, which is right after they've recently worked in that same area where the thing mounts. And it's gone to ground 3 times on me on this trip. The first one, I don't know if I can blame on the kickstand or not. Riding up through northern New Mexico, you can see a whole bunch of storms moving, so you know, motioned for the truck to pull over so I could load it up. And I set it, and it was on some gravel and a very slight incline, but it shouldn't have been enough to cause the bike to fall over. I think what hit it was a big gust of wind. Now here's one of these kiss your ass turns, and very nice. You know, this is kind of like some of the areas on the Three Twisted Sisters in my area down in South Texas in the hill country. But anyway, I think it was just a big gust of wind that caught it, but that kickstand should have held, but it blew it right over. Scratched the hell out of the right side of the windshield, if you can see that right there. The other day in the parking lot, actually I think it was, might have been in the motel, I'm not exactly sure, but it fell over on me again. I got off of it, it's sitting almost perfectly level. Handlebars turned to the right like I always do. I looked around a minute later, boom, she was gone. And then yesterday when I was putting the foot pegs on, and it was sitting on a little bit of an uphill with a slight right-hand incline to it, and turn around and look, boom, goes to ground again. And I don't know if you can see the scratches in the windshield right in front of me here. They got it this time. So I'm kind of thinking they might have had to pull that kickstand off to fix whatever was going on with that oil line. I'm no mechanic, never claimed to be one. That's my son Travis up here. But I don't know if something is loose down there or what. The kickstand's not working right, but I got to get this figured out. Now here, maybe this will catch a little bit of that. We'll see.
But if not, that's a really nice place. On the way back down, I'll have to get some pictures. Yeah, this is kind of frustrating that it's running this slow. When we rode it Sunday, even with the storms way up the mountain, I mean, of course, Travis and his buddies were hauling ass. And that's fine, you know, they've all got the sport bikes and love to run real fast. And see, we just crossed mile 7 here. And that's fine, you know, they're young, they think they're indestructible. I've already been taught by a motorcycle that I am not indestructible. So I tend to ride my own ride. My bike is a cruiser, it's not a sporter or a crotch rocket or anything like that. I ride for comfort and for fun and for pleasure. And like I told them, hey, you guys want to run off and leave my ass? Fine, I know how to get back to the hotel. It don't bother me a bit. But, you know, this is some absolutely spectacular scenery. You know, a lot of people think of Utah as either 100% snow covered, which it's not, or high desert mountain and down in the Red Rock country in the south, where you got all the national parks, and that's absolutely beautiful. But here it's really pretty green and lush if you look at it. Now it is Red Rock, and yeah, it's actually pretty temperature wise. It's very comfortable right at the moment. I don't have a thermometer on me, but it was over 85 when I started up the canyon here, and now, oh okay, I see some flashing lights up ahead. So that's probably somebody escorting either an oversized load or a construction vehicle. So that's why we're running so slow. When I do the second run up here after a while, I'm going to, like I said earlier, I'm going to tape off all the chrome that I can with some blue painter's tape and try and knock out that reflective glare in the windshield. Because, and if it works, I'll actually do a separate video on that as a hack for motovloggers. But, you know, when I rode this Sunday and I had the camera mounted behind the windshield facing forward, you can see the reflections of the chrome, and that's what I want to try and kill. Because I leave my windshield on all the time. I know a lot of motovloggers, the types of bikes they ride, they either don't have windshields or they've got these little tiny windshields. Hey, I'm a big old man. I like my nice big windshield. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. And also, this is the very first time I'm using my DJI Osmo to actually film me while I'm riding. And so, this is just all experimentation, all in fun. You know, and that's what I like to do. I like to have fun with this, enjoy it. Share some things with you. If I learn something along the way, you know, I'll make a special video on it. Like I said, if this little hack works, there'll be a video on that. If it doesn't, yeah, you'll never see or hear from it again until I figure out another means to try. Or if any of you out there, especially any of the motovloggers that you know, I follow or that happen to see this, have any other ideas, man, please put in your comments. Let me know. I'm willing to try anything. Because, you know, I've probably got about 2 more years to work if everything goes right. Move to Alaska next year, retire the year after that. That's my target. And if that works, you know, then I plan on doing a whole lot of riding. I have actually never seen any videos on YouTube yet, and that doesn't mean they're out there. It just means I have not found them or seen them for Alaska motovloggers. So, you know, that might be a new little niche for me. And then also sometimes during the year, once I retire, you know, throw the motorcycle and stuff on the trailer and load up the dogs and head back down south to the lower 48 for a while, and also do some touring that way. So who knows? You know, retirement's supposed to be fun and enjoyable, and you know, I know a lot of people, their idea of retirement is moving somewhere where it's 100 degrees every day or more and get out and play golf every day. Help yourself. You know, my thing about golf, and I've never really gotten into golf. When I was a senior in high school, I used to go to the driving ranges in Kansas City, and you know, I could burn up a couple of balls, and you'd be surprised where they go. Straight was usually not one. Oh, a little beaver dam right there. But you know, I just never got into it, and as I got more into you know, my various careers in law enforcement and the military, and my philosophy on golf kind of changed, and about the only way it would be interesting for me would be kind of like for a shooter that shoots trap and skeet. So you get somebody next to you that's going to sit there and tee up the golf ball with a driver and hit it, and then you pull and shoot it. But again, the problem with that is, you know, even when you hit the golfs, I have yet to figure out a way where you can clean it and cook it and make it edible. Anyway, that's my thoughts on golf. And I know a lot of people love it, and that's great for them, because you know what, if they're out playing golf, they're not out on the roads pestering me on the motorcycle, they're not out at the shooting ranges making me wait longer, they're not you know, out hunting and screwing up the potential of a hunt. So man, yeah, you guys go for it. Go get out there and play your golf all day long and leave me to my activities. We'll all be happy. This is kind of a little bottom area right here, marshy. I can see some standing water, but the creek's actually back there by the trees on that side. And I can't tell, you know, when I turn my head to turn the camera that way, I'm not looking at the phone anymore, so I can't see what it's seeing. But basically, this camera, like I said earlier, pairs with the phone, so I can kind of keep an eye on what it is. And it's got a really neat feature on the side of the camera, because you know, all helmets have different contours. And when I bought this thing, I actually bought 3 additional mounting kits for it. The mounting brackets, speakers, and microphone. So I can put it in other helmets, and then you just move your actual module right up here. There it is. Uh-oh. Didn't want to do that, I don't think. Oh well, didn't look like no harm, no foul. I didn't change anything. That was an accidental bump. But this unit right up here, I mean, I can clip it off, and if I had another helmet with me that had a bracket on it, you know, I got a 3/4 I want to try this with to get a little more airflow. Then all I do is slide it off, slide it in, rebuckle the main connection for the speakers and microphone, and take off on the road again. And here we go, slowing down again. This is really kind of brutal. You know, just kind of my luck. But I'm going to film it a second time as I come up, and you'll get to see whichever is the best of the best on this. That's the wonders of editing. In fact, you know, a lot of people kind of wonder, you know, why does an old guy like me do something like this? You know, I got enough other things to keep me occupied and busy, and that's very true, I do. But, you know, I'm a nerd, number one. Never deny that. In fact, my youngest ex-stepdaughter, Dory, used to call me a nerd all the time when she was a little kid. So, yeah, Dory, you're right. I still am a nerd. But, sorry, I got an itch up here. Okay. You know, as I get older, and I have been a nurse for many, many years, and I've worked with geriatrics, old people, for a long time. And one of the things that I had found out is, you know, if you don't keep a person's mind engaged and challenged, it seemed to me like that hastens the onset of senile dementia. And the last thing I want to do is be old in a minute. So, you know, plus I have, like I said, lifelong love of learning. And believe me, since I got into this, 14 months ago, this has challenged me. This has pushed me to grow. You know, I've had to learn all kinds of different videography techniques and editing techniques and how to, you know, dub in sound. And one of these days when we get some time, I want my friend Nina to show me how, you know, she does some things. She's able to do video capture on her phone. She does that. She'll capture a little bit of one of my videos and, you know, overlay it into hers to make some comment, because we both promote each other's channel, trying to help each other. You know, Nina does a great job. She's a fantastic person. If you haven't checked her out yet, Wood and Water Outdoors, Nina Wren and Josh McGuire, both fantastic people. I got to meet them a few weeks ago, and that's really been one of the absolute highlights of my YouTubing career, is meeting them. And I'll leave a link to their channel down below. Hey, there's the moose. But I've met a lot of really cool people doing the YouTube stuff. You know, a while back, I don't remember if I finished that video yet or not. I got so many in progress, it's not even funny, but that's part of being a Gemini. But I got the chance to go up to Fort Worth when Revzilla, and Revzilla is a supplier company, whatever. They sell motorcycle apparel, gear, parts, and such. they had a motorcycle festival up at the Texas Motor Speedway called their Get On Moto Fest. And so that's the first motorcycle type event I've ever gone to in my life. You know, I'm basically, geopolitically, I do not align with most bikers. You know, so I just don't put myself in that kind of position. But it was a lot of fun. It was a 3-day event, and there was 2 things I wanted to accomplish when I went up on that event. And one was to test ride some other motorcycles. In fact, there was one, I mean, I had a go-to. I wanted to ride that one above all else, and Harley Davidson let me down. And that was their new 1200 or 1250cc Pan American. Harley didn't even show up for the thing, which was very disappointing. Kawasaki was there, Royal Enfield was there, Indian was there, and BMW. Now, I didn't ride the BMWs because the only ones they had was their great big massive touring bike, and I wasn't in the market for that. I did get to ride 2 of the Indians, one at the insistence of my Uncle Dennis, who happens to be 15 years younger than me, and that's a long West Virginia story, don't ask. But he has an Indian Road King, or Roadmaster, I'm sorry, Indian Roadmaster, and he just was insistent if I got the chance to get out there and ride that bike, and I did. And I immediately texted him when I was done with that test ride, in quotes, "I hate you," unquote. That was nice. Oh my God, that was the most comfortable bike I have ever been on in my life. Beautiful handling, a lot of power. Really liked that bike. But, you know, hey, that's how things go in this world. I also rode their Super Chief, which is kind of Indian's version of my bike I have right here, and that was really nice as well. It's got a little more power than mine does. And of course, it's a little newer, so it's got more bells and whistles and electronics and that kind of stuff. But very, very nice. And then I've got a cousin in Massachusetts, Todd. And Todd's a professional photographer. He's got his own photography business. Does really well with it. But Todd's got a 650 Versus Kawasaki. And so it's like, okay, you know, I'm looking for a bike when I move to Alaska that will be appropriate for the fact that, you know, 2/3 of Alaska roads are nothing but packed gravel and dirt. So it's not a paved road. So this bike would not be any good on it. And let's see, right at this second, I'm coming up on, and I can't quite read the name of it here, Silver Fork Lodge and Restaurant. This is as far as we came up the other night. I'm going to keep on going a little while. This is as far as we came the other night. But anyway, back to the motorcycles. I had been doing a lot of research on that, and I really, 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 really wanted to try the Kawasaki and the Royal Enfield as my sport adventure bikes. And of course, you know, Todd said he's got the 650. He loves it up there. Fantastic bike. Well, they had the 650 and they had the 1000. And I had signed up for the 650 since that was Todd's bike. But when I got on the line to load up, well, nobody signed up for the 1000. So I asked him, you know, hey, can I go ahead and hop on this? And they're like, yeah, sure. Well, the first mistake I made with it was, you know, I'm not a overly tall person, 5'10", 31 inch inseam. And so I can't flat foot it. In fact, I basically had my big toes on the ground. So you have to do a little technique where you put one foot on the brake pedal side and then your right leg out extended to hold it vertical when you take it off the kickstand. Now that wasn't so cool. I don't like that feeling of being that unstable. I'm 68 years old, okay? 30 years, 35-year-old, yeah, that'd be a whole different story. But anyway, we go out for this test ride. And my very first bike was a Kawasaki back in 1973 or 74. I forget when it was now. But it was a KZ400, 3-cylinder. That was in the era before the crotch rockets. But that sucker was pretty damn fast, and it was lightweight, and it was almost hard to hold it on the ground. But man, that 1000 Versus, you just look at that throttle and you're gone. It's like being shot out of a slingshot. And that would be great fun, and you know, an adrenaline rush again for all the young guys. I've gone down one time really hard in an accident I should not have lived over, but I did. So, you know, I am in no rush to do that kind of crap again. But, so that, let that go. And then I got over to Royal Enfield, and in fact, they had the bike I want to get. It's the Royal Enfield Himalayan. And so I did get to ride that one. Really like it. Okay. Here we have Solitude Mountain Resort. This is a ski resort up here. We're probably in the range of 8,000 feet above sea level right now. Anyway, back to my story. I really like that Himalayan. It's a great sport adventure bike. It would do very well on the roads up in Alaska. It's a single cylinder 500cc bike. And it's not overloaded with electronics, which is something I like. Because, hey, we're getting up close to the top there. See some of the tops of the peaks up here. You know, it's not super fast. You can get it up to 60, 65 miles an hour if you had to. I don't know that I would want to on those kind of roads. But without all those electronics, and I don't know if many of you know this about a lot of Alaska, but basically once you get off the main highway system, and there's not much of that, you got no cell service in a lot of places. And I'm no mechanic, so I want, if something breaks down, I want it to be as minimalist as possible in, you know, what I can get in there and possibly fix myself. Yeah, there it is. Big pipe truck, looks like it's hauling pipe, steel pipe up in front of me. Yeah, it's really cool. Can't wait, and in fact, the dealership that was representing Royal Enfield at this show, and the show was in Fort Worth, was a dealership out of Irving, Texas. Which is, you know, everything in life keeps going round and round in circles, and the older you get, the smaller the circles get. Well, my first Kawasaki that I bought in 1973 or 74, I bought from Kawasaki City in Irving when I was a police officer there. So, and I never even knew how to ride a motorcycle. Never been on one in my life. I went down and I bought it, and I had a buddy of mine that had a motorcycle license. Had to take him with me so that he could ride it home for me, and I taught myself how to ride it there in the apartment parking lots that we lived in. But I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, Kawasaki City still exists. It's about a block down the road from where their shop is. But I guess he was general manager or sales manager, whatever. His name's Scotty. Great guy. Had a lot of long conversations with him, and his wife was there, and she told me a lot about their shop and their, you know, their products they have and some of the rides and stuff that they go on up in North Texas. So it was a good time. But anyway, by the time the show was over, I had made up my mind. I am buying that Royal Enfield Himalayan as my Alaska adventure touring bike. I told him that, and he said, you know, of course they wanted to sell it to me right then, and it's like, no, that's not how I'm going to do it. Let's see, what do we got? We got Guardsman Pass, Park City, and Midway. Those roads are open, and now we're going up to Brighton. I'll go up a little bit more before I turn around. But anyway, when I get ready to buy it, I'm going to walk in there with cash money in hand, lay it down, and that will be my sport adventure bike. Bring it back down to South Texas with me, ride it some down here to get used to it and everything, and haul it up to Alaska with me next summer when I make the move. Ooh, I hope the camera's picking that up. Trying to get my head up there. Yeah, I'm almost up to the truck with the, oh, we got a traffic circle. Oh, that ought to be fun. With that big truck, I guess the police officer escorting him. Ooh, Arch Cabin. Ooh, that's a photo for on the way back. That's one of the things I'm looking at for my Alaska house, is Arch Cabin. And in fact, I think this is where I'm going to, this is Brighton, which is another ski resort, and I'm going to turn around right here. I'm going back here by this Arch Cabin. I'm going to take some photos, load up, and go back down towards the bottom, and then work on my taping and get everything ready to come back for my second go-round here. And I sure hope there's a spot here where I can park this thing and not have any fear of it falling over, which is always a fear with me. Well, the Osmo's still recording, so it hasn't run out of battery. I have no idea how long the battery lasts in this thing. But let me get everything buckled back up, start back down. I think I'll leave it on for this trip down. at least this camera and see how it goes. If I run out of batteries, I'll apologize, but like I said, this is the first use of it, so I have no idea how much it uses, how long it runs. We'll just have to try it and see. All right, here we go back down the mountain. Okay, we came up mile 16. That's how far up we came to Brighton. So 3 miles farther than we came the other night. And this will give you kind of a different perspective going down. I know this may be a longer video, but I hope it's something that you people enjoy. I know I enjoy making it for you. I love riding roads like this. And to me, this is what this kind of bike I have is made for. And I know with Travis and his buddies, that's exactly what they say about their bikes, the sport bikes, the crotch rockets, where they can get up and run and ride real fast. But I enjoy the ride. So I'm just going to be a little quiet here as we go down the hill. As I've talked all the way up, you're probably tired of hearing me. I'll find some kind of nice music to dub in the background here. That's another little thing I've had to learn in my video editing and stuff, is how to download music and not violate copyrights and plug it in and separate out soundtracks, like my DJI Osmo that's taking pictures of me right now, you know, that camera right there. All it's going to be picking up is wind. So when I insert clips of that, it'll be overlaid with this, and I will basically delete the soundtrack from it and use the clips there, video clip from here on top of the sound that I'm talking, hopefully, if all of this works. We will find out shortly. It'll also be interesting to see how this works, because the microphone is actually mounted right behind this piece right here, and that's your air vent for your chin and your lower face, so I don't know how much air noise that's going to pick up. Ooh, you can really start picking up a lot of speed real fast going downhill. Kind of a little turnout for Solitude ski resort there. There's the ski lift. I don't ski. I tried once when I was still in the Army and in Germany, and we had a unit organization day, and we decided to take the whole clinic down into the Black Forest area and go skiing. And we did. It was a lot of fun, but you know, I basically figured out that my ankles are awful damn weak and kind of hard to do to stay in a vertical configuration. So yeah, I basically went to the beer tent and drank beer and watched all the other guys that worked for me you know, enjoy life and have a good time skiing. That was a fun trip. And then we went into the Black Forest you know, cuckoo clock shops and bought a couple cuckoo clocks. I still got one of them. It's already in Alaska waiting on me to get up there too. But this area right here really reminds me a lot of that Black Forest area. I'd hate to see the price tag on that house for sale. And again, the Silver Fork Lodge and Restaurant. Not going to stop for pictures for that, but I do want to get some creek pictures down here. I remember one spot I wanted to take, stop and take some pictures. lot of aspen trees up here. That's what these white bark trees are, quaking aspens. This would be a hell of a ride in the fall. You may have to think about that. Yeah, Joanna, I may be taking a couple weeks off, late September, early October. Hop on the motorcycle, do some riding around the country. Oh! A mule deer right there. I don't know if it showed up on the camera. Mule deer doe, she was eating. No, come back out here, ride some of this, go through the Ozarks in Missouri, head up into Kentucky, do all that during the fall time, go over to West Virginia, visit my brother Terry in the nursing home, and think maybe drop down south, visit some friends of mine in Georgia, and work my way back across from there. That'd be a good 2-week trip. One of my very, very dear friends and co-worker, Janice. In fact, we both worked for VA at one point. I used to work for her. She's a little older than I am by about a year. And, we've been talking lately as we're getting older and, we're seeing things happen around the world and country and with diseases. And we've both spent most of our lives dedicated to work and serving veterans and the military population. And at some point, you get to ask yourself the question, what about me? What about, I've dedicated so many years of my life, almost 35 years of my life in the healthcare field, military, VA, and what I'm doing now. So at what point do I start living? Do I stop working and start living? And so that's why I have set myself that target for retiring in 2 years. And that's if everything works perfectly. Who the hell knows? Of course, who the hell knew COVID was coming too, You can't project the future. You can only set your goals, plans, and work towards them. And when things come up, as we say in the Army, you adapt and overcome. And no good plans survives first contact with the enemy, and the enemy is called life. So make your plans, make your goals, but you've got to be very fluid in it too. So that's one of the things that we're looking at is the me aspect of it. Okay, you give so much of yourself. Again, Army, we had a term for it, selfless service. But you go and go and give and give and do, and at some point you have to say, okay, I have more than fulfilled my social responsibilities, my duty to the world. Because I'm a person who believes that those who have the ability to help to do things have a responsibility to do it. And there I am again, right there on that big yellow sign, the moose. So everybody has a responsibility. Not everybody decides to fulfill that responsibility. So those of us who do tend to go overboard sometimes. Guilty as charged on that regard. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Ooh, that would be a nice ride back up in there on the adventure bike. Yeah, Travis told me if I get that, I need to bring it up here so we can go riding some on some of these places he knows that are off the beaten path and up in the mountains, and that would be awesome. Maybe that's for next spring. And it's kind of funny. I know I said I'd shut up, but you guys know me well enough to know I just talk and talk and talk and talk. This is the first vacation I've taken that I can remember in 30-some years where I have totally disconnected from work anyway. Didn't bring my laptop, didn't bring my work phone, and in fact I even screwed up, and I'll get yelled at this when I get back, but I forgot to put my out-of-office message on when I left. One of my Army contacts called me yesterday, and it's like, well, that's great, Sheila, but I can't help you right now. If it's something real urgent, I can get you to somebody else, but if not, can I call you back when I get it down Monday? Okay, yeah, call me Monday. That's one of the beauties of having these long-term friendships and business relationships, because that group I worked with Army, I've worked with them for well over a decade on the project when I was with VA, and now in my role with this company. So, we can be honest with each other. We're concerned about the integrity of the program and doing the right thing for the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines going through the military medical discharge system. None of us have any personal goals or personal agendas, no ivory towers to build. We just want to get the job done and get it done right the first time. So we work really well together. And if any of you out there have that luxury in your employment lives to have those kind of relationships, please cherish them. Because believe me, I've worked for other companies in the past before I went in the military, and I was almost 34 when I went in. I was an old fart. In a lot of places in the civilian world, it does not exist. So if you have those kind of relationships, cherish them, nurture them, grow them. That's what will make you successful, and more importantly, that's what will make whatever your project or your goal is more successful. And maybe that'll pick up a little bit of the creek there. You know, the creek gets wider as it goes down. Sure was nice up there. It was about 70 degrees up there on the top when I got to mile marker 16 in Brighton and turned around. Now where you start up this, there's actually another canyon, Little Cottonwood Canyon, and we'll have to see how that goes. Whether I try and ride that, I haven't ridden that one yet, whether I try and ride that after I do round 2 of this one. Just have to wait and see. Don't know if I have enough battery left. I know I got the gas to do it. Alright, here's one place I want to try and pull over and see if I can get down in there and get some photos. Because there's a little beaver dam right in there. Oh yeah, right here. Pavement. That's what's critical for me. This thing won't fall over so much, I hope, on pavement. Alright.
Recording.
Okay, folks, that was a really beautiful little photo stop. I hope you enjoyed that footage of the beaver dam that I put in here. And so let's keep on going down the road. And see what happens. It was funny, once I stopped riding, boy, it got hot in a hurry. So even with that windshield and a little bit of breeze, it makes a hell of a difference. Ugh. Alright, let's get rolling down the hill. And away we go. Well, I can't see anything on my phone screen right now. Another little beaver dam right there. Alright, that might be a little better. I can't hardly see anything on my phone screen because the sun's over this shoulder reflecting straight off of it. That's one of the things I don't like about, you know, cell phones and stuff, is you're just helpless, really. If you're using your GPS trying to watch where you're going or change your music up, whatever the case may be, it's just ridiculous, in my not so humble opinion. But anyway, we're going to finish the ride down the hill. I don't know if I'll make another stop here or not. I did have to put on my, you know, long sleeve fishing type shirt that's breathable and helps filter UV rays so I don't burn my arms to a crisp. Although I do have a really good farmer's tan right now. That's what my daughter used to call it anyway when Andrea was little. I had farmer's tans. I don't think I'll be able to see the spots that I identify, the spots where I wanted to take some pictures of the waterfalls on the way down, so I'll take those when I come back up. But there were some pretty ones down here. If I see them, I'll pull over and stop. If I don't, I won't. Hey, buddy. And I'll be coming into the sharp curves here in a couple minutes. Man, this is a beautiful ride. Oh my God. Can't believe I lived here for 2 years, 2005 to 2007, and never once came up either one of the Cottonwood Canyons. You know, went up and down Provo Canyon, down in Utah County many times, but never up here. I don't think I'll have time to get in a Provo County ride. Depends on what the weather does tomorrow, really. Because there may be something really special happening tomorrow. I'm hoping it comes through, and if it does, it'll be one of the best videos I've ever done, and I think
a lot of you out there will enjoy it. Some of you will absolutely hate it and cuss me up one side and down the other. My dear cousin Eva in Colorado. We have some philosophical differences on some issues in life. And the topic, if this video, if it happens, that'll be one that we will have some problems with. But that's okay. In the end, we still like each other. She's the widow of my late cousin Bob. Bob was 2 years older than I am. He died a year or two ago, I don't remember now, of brain cancer, which is a shame. Bob really was a rocket scientist, literally. When he worked for NASA and some of the universities and stuff, worked on the teams that developed some of the engines for the space shuttle, and working on things with other companies for follow-ons to the space shuttle system. So the man was a true genius. He was a great guy. We used to hang out when we were kids. His mom was my dad's sister, and we all lived in Kansas City together. And he unfortunately had lost his 2 brothers to drugs many, many years ago. But Bob was a wonderful guy. 8 years in the Air Force, 4 years of that in Alaska. So, I always respect his service, thank him for it, and thank Eva for putting up with what that entailed of dragging around the country with him. But, it happens to all of us, and that goes back to what I was talking about a few minutes ago. Oh, now you can get a better picture of how this curve is. When do you start living for yourself? When have you made your living in your life, and now it's time to enjoy it? And I'm just about to that point. Quite honestly, I love what I do. I've spent 34 years of my life taking care of soldiers, veterans, and military members. And that, to me, is the thing I can be most proud of in my life to date. Now, I would like to get some input from you guys. If you would, give me some feedback in the comments below. When I do occasionally shut up, what kind of music do you like to have in your videos, as background, when you're just seeing a lot of scenery like this? My buddy Jim, who's got his channel called Willie Moo, getting crosswind here. Willie Rhino Adventures, up in Alaska, always gives me a lot of good feedback. We went to high school together, kind of were competitors in high school, and he came out #1. And man's one of the smartest people I've ever known in my life. He drives him nuts when I have these short periods where I'm just showing photos of, a few seconds up to 30 seconds, and it's just silence. You got to put some kind of background noise in there, even though it's just a tick, 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 something to break up the monotony. So, okay, if you've noticed in the last 2 or 3 videos, I've started doing little things like that. But what do you guys want? What do you like to hear, or what would drive you so crazy that you'd go away and never come back to my channel again? Yeah. Believe it or not, folks, this is a partnership. I make these videos, yes, I make them for me, for my own fun and enjoyment, but I also make them for you guys because I'm trying to share what little bit I know about different things in the world with y'all. So, I'm kind of counting on you guys to give me feedback of what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear, what you want to see, and so on. And I try and accommodate if I can. And if not, I'll usually at least let you know why I can't. I do try and respond to all my comments. Of course, right now on vacation is a little bit more difficult to do. But, you give it your best shot. Now, here's my favorite part of this canyon right here. And I really hope this camera's picking this up, because it is just beautiful. And when I ride it again, I'm going to have the front-facing camera on and hopefully taped up with no reflection. I might even park right off over here and walk around and try and get some pictures today, because that's just spectacular. In fact, that may end up being part of the thumbnail for this video. That's another thing, thumbnails. What do you guys think of the thumbnails the way I do them? You know, I'm not a professional photographer, cinematographer, whatever, no graphic artist, so I'm just winging this and kind of doing the best I can with what I could learn off of YouTube. Ooh, I hope that shows up. There's a guy rock climbing right there on the face. That's cool. That's something I wish I'd have gotten into when I was young enough to do it. And now I'd just be a grease spot on the ground. Little dead chipmunk. Wow. This is just so breathtaking. Would have been cooler if he'd had on something like one of these fluorescent orange or chartreuse shirts or something, so he would have stood out in contrast to the rock color. The camera probably would have picked it up a little better. Another motorcyclist out enjoying the day. Now yesterday, was it yesterday? No. What is it? Today's Thursday. Tuesday, when I was out doing all my running around. And I was up in North Ogden and stopped in at Impact Guns and was leaving. Another mature gentleman, we're not older, we're just mature, about my age, comes out. We were talking, he wanted to know about my bike. And he lives up in this area, and he said, you know, for him, about the middle of June, he puts his bike away and he doesn't get it out again until sometime in September. Because it just gets so damned hot around here. Like I told you, it's supposed to be 116 down where I was going to ride today. But it was like, wow. Yeah, you know, I get heat and humidity down in Texas, and the humidity, I think, much makes the heat much worse than it does here. Of course, while we're up here on vacation, what's it doing? It's in the 80s and raining every day down in Texas. And as soon as we get back, I guarantee you, it'll be back up about 100, and that'll just drive the humidity from all that moisture laying around on the ground. It'll just drive the humidity through the roof, be back to living in a hot, wet sponge. Because I lose most of the summer. Summer is my absolute least favorite season, just because I am so heat and humidity intolerant from that minor heat stroke. Yeah, for me, priorities on seasons run, my top priority, favorite is fall, then winter, then spring, and then I hate summer. Now summer in Alaska will be different, I grant you that. You know, right up there right down in the area, it's getting up in the high 50s, low 60s during the day, and you know, into the low 40s at night. That's summer in that part of Alaska. I could live with that. Absolutely. Coming down to a little bit more flat. I also really like this sage right here. I don't know how well it's showing up. The problem with it is I think that's one of the things I'm allergic to. Because man, my allergies are ripping me apart right now, and they did when we lived here a couple of years, or 2 years. But then again, I have allergy problems no matter where I live. It is. So, remember what I said earlier? Adapt and overcome. Are you going to barricade yourself in a house with HEPA filters so you don't have any allergens? Or are you going to get out and live life as best you can under the circumstances, and when it starts getting to be too much, then you pull the plug and back in and try again another day? That's my philosophy. That's pretty. People here in this region do a lot of beautiful landscaping. You either love it or hate it. This is called High Mountain Desert, and xeriscaping, or very minimal water consumption landscaping is the preferred method for people. All right, time to pull off here, hit the bathroom, get the cameras readjusted, do my duct taping, or not duct taping, paint taping, and then see what I can do for the next go round. Lone Moose out for this ride. I will see you all shortly when we go back up the mountain.
folks, what'd you think of Big Cottonwood Canyon and that part of Utah? Pretty spectacular, right? Well, it's been a month now since I did that ride, and I still haven't been able to publish the video up until now. My old desktop computer over here, it'll just freeze up. I guess the filming, the file size, whatever, from that 10C EVO camera was just so big that it overwhelmed its RAM capacity. And I even tried it in my laptop, which I had upped the RAM on that to 16 gigs, and it would get a little bit farther than this one, but it still freeze up. So I ended up having to invest in a new computer, since, if I'm going to get serious about doing YouTube videos and more riding and who knows what, all kinds of videos, I've got to have the capacity. So I bought me a new Dell that's got, excuse me, it's got me 64 gigs of RAM, expandable to 128. Hopefully I don't need that much. And then two terabyte solid state drives. So it should handle my video needs for quite a while. So again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I've got a couple more videos to process from Utah and on the 10C EVO. So, please stay tuned for those. So in the meantime, this is Lone Moose out. I'll see you when I do the next video. Be safe out there, folks. COVID, variant D is surging. And I know a lot of you don't like to hear it, but you know what stuff you got to do. And mainly, wash your hands, social distance, wear your mask. Even if you're immunized. I'm double immunized, and I still do. Because even though I may not get sick from it, I can still transmit it and make other people sick. So please stay safe. Thank you much. End of my soapbox.